Welcome back. In this video, I'd like to take a very quick look at the primitive classes available to us in Java. In Java, we often say that strings are special because they have a literal interpretation identified by these double quotation marks, but we still interact with them primarily through the string class, rather than a string primitive type, which is not actually available to us. Your standard Java primitive, however, we generally interact with through its primitive typing. However, we do have available to us for every primitive type a corresponding primitive class. These are the integer, character, float classes, etc. For the most part, the explicit uses of these classes, where we create an instance of them and then call methods on that instance, are not very useful unless we're overriding them to create a class of our own. The options given to us by an instance of the character class, the methods it exposes, are primarily conversion methods, which would happen automatically or that we could simply cast to. Compare to is sometimes useful though. Compare to returns an integer value, 0 if the given other character is equivalent, and less than 0 or greater than 0, depending on which side of the integer conversion scale the two characters fall in relation to each other. However, we may very oftentimes find ourselves using the static methods of these primitive classes to manipulate or get information from instances of the primitive types. For example, if I want to know if our character C is lowercase, I can certainly convert it to an integer value, check an ASCII table, and then see if that integer value falls between the range of lowercase characters. But that's a whole lot of work. And the character primitive class provides a static function for me, is lowercase, which will tell me if a character is lowercase or not. That's really the gist of primitive functions. We can interact with the other literal types and their primitive types in the same manner that we would interact with strings by using a class, if we so choose. When we don't need the functionality of a primitive class, we should continue using primitive types. The syntax highlighting and kind of universal look across languages makes them much more friendly for programmers to work with. Thanks for watching.